I believe that every movie adheres to the 29-point story structure. No matter if the writer outlines first or dives in blind, the end product follows the same 29 beats. Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back is my Exhibit X. 5 down and 4 to go, we passed the halfway mark of the core Star Wars story. It's been a slow march since I'm weaving these in with other movies, yet it's given me time to reflect on each installment. And I gotta say, this Trekkie didn't give these movies enough credit until now. The Empire Strikes Back utilizes a traditionally punchy third act, rather than the heavy spectacle of typical sci-fi offerings. And aside from an extended opening, this film bucks many other structured tropes found in sci-fi as well. Even so, every beat and twist follows the 29-point story structure to an almost religious reverence. Let's begin. A tight focus on the core elements of the protagonist's personality, inner conflict, and situation. Rebellion MVP Princess Leia protests the imminent departure of Han Solo for a myriad of good reasons, really. Jedi savant Luke Skywalker showcases his array of Force skills to escape being eaten, and Han freaking Solo proves his loyalty and saves Luke from being frozen against all odds. Where, why, and how the protagonist exists in their world, with a focus on why they don't quite fit in. The rebellion fears the Empire has found their second secret base on their remote and largely uninhabitable planet, while a massive space navy scours the solar system for exactly that purpose. And yeah, I'm gonna point this out too, this don't quite fit in. A singular event that's never happened before, and is destined to lead the protagonist away from their status quo. Darth Vader sets course for Hoth, guided by part of a droid report and his gut. An examination of what's different in light of the something new, what's the same in spite of it in relation to the status quo. The rebels detect the Empire's approach, and instead of hunkering down, they switch to evacuation. The discovery that things are less than ideal, or an exploration of how badly things are. The Imperial Walkers prove themselves impervious to everything the Rebel defense throws at them. The Millennium Falcon still isn't space-worthy, and Luke crashes in the path of a Walker. Characters dedicate their effort to a specified goal, which is smaller in scope than the primary objective of the third act. The Rebels sound the retreat. Luke takes on the Imperial machinery single-handedly, while Han protects Leia and rushes her out of danger. A brief checklist of the story elements needed for the second act. Luke's pull towards the Force, towards the exiled Master Yoda, the looming violent threat of the Empire, and Han Solo's quick thinking and resourcefulness. The singular event that launches the protagonist into the wild jungle of the second act, also called an oh shit moment. Luke crash lands in the swampy outback of Dagobah. Oh shit. Characters must learn all new rules and expectations distinct to this adventure. Luke and R2-D2 navigate the dangers of this new planet, while Han, Leia, and crew suspect something is off about their asteroid hidey hole. Characters showcase their ability to grow in the areas this adventure requires, typically through external means. Luke curries the favor of Yoda in search for Yoda, while Han and Leia finally address the over-the-top tension between them. Characters face legitimate and understandable reasons to deviate from their stated convictions, agendas, or desires. Luke's path puts him on a collision course with Vader, now that Vader knows the threat is his own son. And Yoda resists training Luke because of how much Anakin is in him despite the clever ruse. An escalation of problems that vex the characters. Nothing about the asteroid hidey hole makes sense, and Han, Leia, and crew barely escape before they're digested. Luke's intensive training makes up for years of backwoods complacency. Characters evolve internally by utilizing everything they've gathered and learned. Luke confronts the metaphor of being Vader's emotional successor, while Han proves his cleverness by evading the Empire. Journey-weary characters reconcile the reality of their ongoing situation with who they were in the first act. Luke's confidence in his abilities with the Force is shaken in the presence of a 900-year-old Jedi Master. A singular event that strikes at the protagonist's core conflict. Luke beholds what can be accomplished with a quiet belief in the Force and in himself. Characters find a safe harbor that also provides needed answers for both external and internal conflicts. Han freaking Solo's vanishing trick is revealed, and his getaway plan culminates in the introduction to Lando freaking Calrissian. The clarified objective is realized in part or in whole, though it's meaningless without the completion of the primary objective. Han and Leia escape the Empire's attention, but Boba Fett isn't so easily fooled. Luke levels up his Force abilities, but his stronger vision lures him away from his training. An existential conflict that wounds the character's sense of self, worldly identity, or their journey. Han receives a chilly greeting in the skies above Lando's place, complete with warning shots. Leia knows that an empty landing platform is very, very bad news. Then Lando swaggers out to invite the crew in. An undeniable win for the protagonist, typically in direct connection to the rebirth. Yoda and Ghost Kenobi plead with Luke to continue his training, but he places ultimate faith in himself to save his friends. Then Han and Leia touch on their budding, though tumultuous, relationship. A grand loss directly connected to the character's newfound inability to quit the journey. Lando reveals his recent deal with the Empire, and Vader begins to sell off the crew like spare parts. A thematic freefall tied directly to the heavy price. Han and Leia find out they've been reduced to Skywalker bait, and Lando's deal keeps getting redefined on Vader's whim. A singular event that robs the protagonist of seemingly any chance of success. Han is encased in carbonite, his fate and his destination sealed. Characters cannot return to their starting personas, and must turn to face the primary objective. Luke infiltrates the building. Lando initiates an escape plan, and Luke faces Vader. Characters move towards the climax while utilizing the major swings and sneaky misdirections of the story. Lando betrays Vader to make up for his betrayal of Han, and Vader revisits the lessons Luke received from Obi-Wan and Yoda, adding his own perspective like the commentary section in The Art of War. The final confrontation between the protagonist and the antagonistic force. Leia and company blast their way back to the Millennium Falcon. Then Vader disarms Luke and puts an end to the one-sided battle. Father and son confront the truth of their shared lineage and power. The singular event where the protagonist finally confronts their place in the status quo. Luke risks suicide before turning to the dark side of the Force. The direct aftermath of the climax. Luke hangs from the underbelly of the Imperial ship, and in his adrenaline and delirium calls out for anyone. Leia, who's already shown to possess the Force sense, swings the Millennium Falcon around to save him. The consequences of the climax in relation to other characters in the status quo. Vader reaches out to Luke again, believing him trapped. R2-D2 sabotages the Empire's sabotage to kickstart the hyperdrive, and this dude totally just pissed his pants. A tight focus on the protagonist contrasted from the opening. Luke recovers from his ordeal with a nifty new hand, just like Anakin. Recovering Han's body is the core mission for Chewie and Lando, and Leia waits for word, powerless in her grief. And there you have it, my 24th example to support my argument that all movies follow the exact same story structure, regardless of how the writer approaches their craft. The Empire Strikes Back delivers an epic sci-fi adventure with the pacing of a summer action blockbuster, yet it doesn't once step beyond the 29-point story structure. But does this sibling-kissing space drama follow the same plot beats as a dark comedy revenge tale that shines a bright spotlight on the evils of institutionalized victim blaming? Yes, it arguably does. Next on my docket, Promising Young Woman. Please subscribe to stay up to date with this and future videos, and please like and comment with your thoughts and reactions. I'll talk to you next time.